We are here again at this 22nd Winter ISODARCO, and we are with David Holloway, who teaches history and political science at Stanford University. He actually opened this conference by giving a talk on the early years, the early attempts at nuclear disarmament, right after the Second World War. My question then is, do you see any parallel between those early attempts and what is proposed these days by the so-called quartet, Schultz, Kissinger and the others? Especially because, as far as I know, you took part in the Uber Institution conference on that topic in late '86.
Late 2006.
No, sorry, 2006. That was Reykjavik. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, the 20th anniversary of Reykjavik. Yeah, I think there's one big parallel, and that is that there's a feeling that, which certainly existed in the minds of some people at the end of World War II, that the international system could not cope with nuclear weapons. People had lived through the most terrible war in history, and there had been another world war 20 years beforehand, and there was a feeling that the international system generated wars on a regular basis, and that if you then introduced the atomic bomb, the wars would become so destructive that it would just be a catastrophe, and that international politics had to be changed, and certainly at the very least the bomb had to be eliminated, or atomic energy brought under international control. And I think that now there's quite a strong feeling, and I think this is a feeling that motivated the Hoover Initiative, or the Quartet Initiative, that we managed during the Cold War to survive. We created some kind of system for dealing with nuclear weapons, mainly relying on deterrence. But that is no longer adequate, and that it's not at all clear that we can cope with nuclear weapons in a world in which the technology is spreading, more people could have access to it, more states could acquire nuclear weapons, maybe even terrorist groups could acquire them. And therefore, we really need to think about getting rid of nuclear weapons. It's too dangerous to have them around, so let's be clear. Let's try to move towards a world free of nuclear weapons. And I think that's the main parallel that I see in my mind, at a rather general level.
And according to your studies of those early attempts, there are certain mistakes that can teach us something, and that there are still, lessons for today.
Yes, I think there are lessons, and I think if you look back at the negotiations under the United Nations in 1946 to try to eliminate nuclear weapons, negotiations which obviously failed, I would think I draw two lessons from that. One is that this is a profoundly political question. It's not a technical question, though there are many technical issues involved. And therefore, if we're going to get rid of nuclear weapons, there has to be agreement among the nuclear powers and some kind of vision of a shared future in which people can get by or can flourish without nuclear weapons, where they won't need nuclear weapons. And so we have to pay great attention to the political context, to realizing that this is a political matter and not just thinking up some technical scheme to get rid of them and then saying, oh, here's a program, let's all do this. You have to work with the nuclear powers in the first instance, but with other significant powers, and then eventually everyone, of course, to share the vision of a world free of nuclear weapons. And that, I think, is the first principle. And the second one is related, and that is that you cannot present this as being, oh, this is an American goal or an American proposal. Everyone I mean, to get rid of nuclear weapons involves the efforts of many states, in fact, all states ultimately, and therefore they have to feel this is a common program, not just something that somebody is trying to persuade them to do. And I think if you look back at the early efforts to get rid of nuclear weapons, those two things didn't exist. It was actually a rather brilliant American proposal, but it was presented to the Soviet Union more or less as, you know, take it or leave it. Yeah, exactly. And of course that won't work that way.
Okay, thank you very much, Dave.
Okay, you're welcome. That was painless, yes.
Thank you. 5 minuti,